Welcome to another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful, your ultimate source for everything San Francisco 49ers from a fan's perspective, of course. We've got an action-packed episode for you today, filled with the latest updates, some in-depth analysis, and plenty of speculation about our beloved team. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast so you can never miss an episode. Your support helps us continue to bring top-notch 49er content. So let's just dive right on in. So first, we're going to talk a little Brock Purdy. What's wrong with talking about Brock Purdy? Absolutely nothing. So Brock Purdy, we'll start with our star quarterback, obviously, and he's up there. I mean, he shattered the single season franchise record for throwing for 4,280 yards. Now consider that Joe Montana, Steve Young, Garcia, Cap, and he's only done it. It was only his first full year of being our quarterback. That's amazing. Nothing short of spectacular. But as they always say, there is room for growth. There's always room for growth. That's for any of us, but especially for the quarterback position. And he's so young, he's going to just keep learning. Now, Steve Young, I think we all remember him. And let me see if I just picked this up the other day, and let's see if I can get a good shot at it. Yeah. Just picked that up the other day, speaking of Steve Young. Believes Purdy can elevate his game even further by incorporating more mobility. We saw some of that mobility last season, but yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Steve Young. If he moved a little bit more, there were definitely some chances in some of the games where he probably could have ran. Of course, there's the big risk of could he get hurt by a hit if he needs to practice his baseball slide. But I think he could use a little bit more mobility. That's just going to make him more dangerous. Think of the trouble that our own team has against mobile quarterbacks. So Young pointed out that quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson frequently use their mobility to gain extra yards, and we've all seen that against our own team. While Purdy may not match their athleticism, strategic use of his legs could significantly impact his performance. And that's pretty much with everybody. But especially with Purdy, easily could pick up a 1-yard run and not do the whole tush-push crap. I think he could do that just to be a little bit more mobile. If he aims for 50 to 6 rushing yards per game, he could accumulate between 800 and 1,000 yards over a season. This versatility would make him a good dual threat quarterback and add a new layer of complexity to the 49ers offense. Something we tried to do with Trey Lance, something we had, whether you liked him or not, with Cap. So yeah, I agree. Steve Young has a good point. Get him a little bit more mobile. Put that into the system. I think he's coached to stay in the pocket, which is fine. But he showed that his mobility can be a good thing, so put that a little bit more into the system that he's in. All right, let's go on to the wonderful, wonderful drama that is Brandon Aiyuk. So, trade request. This last week he did put in for, hey, I want to trade. He's not happy with how the negotiations are going. One thing to remember is Debo did something similar. He did it a lot earlier, but he did something similar. And Debo's even said himself that he's been giving advice to Brandon. So, that to me is a little flag saying, oh, this is just another tactic. But Aiyuk has officially requested the trade, and his participation in training camp is uncertain. He's seeking a contract similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but negotiations obviously have stalled. Side note, I actually like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm about halfway through the whole receivers show on Netflix. Yeah, he's going to be an awesome. He already is an awesome receiver, but he's just going to get better and better. But anyway, back to Aiyuk. There are numerous rumors about trades. I don't think it's going to happen myself, and I'm going to keep saying that, but I will talk about them a little bit. Which includes a possible swap with the Raiders for Davante Adams. However, it's unlikely the 49ers will trade Aiyuk without receiving a top value in return. Now, some people might say, oh, well, Davante Adams is a top receiver, but consider his age. It's unfortunate we have to do that, but we do have to consider his age. Aiyuk is still young, more in his prime, or just coming into his prime even. Davante Adams hit his prime, and I think while an awesome receiver, don't get me wrong, it's going to start slowly going down. We don't want someone that's going to happen to. We want someone that's going to be able to contribute more and more. Now, the opposite side of that is we did just pick up a wide receiver in the first round. And I'll bring him up in a little bit. But so there's pluses and minuses. I still don't think it's going to happen. His holdout could actually last 1 to 3 games, potentially longer if an agreement isn't reached. His absence would force the team to rely on more of other receivers, such as Jennings and the other rookie, Jacob Cowing, depending on how long Ricky's going to be out. Hopefully not that long. It was a non-football injury. So it also creates opportunities for other players. Speaking of Cowing, in particular, he stands to gain valuable practice reps and could make a significant impression during training camp with Aiyuk not possibly there and with Ricky Pearsall possibly not being there. Speaking of Ricky Pearsall, told you I'd bring him up. He has been placed on a non-football injury list. The specifics of his injury aren't clear. Trust me, I tried to find something, and no one said anything what it actually is. But it does pose a challenge to the team at receiver. Excuse me a second. With Pearsall sidelines, other players, including Jennings and Cowing, will have to fill the gap. Pearsall's injury gives Cowing a prime opportunity to showcase his skills and potentially earn a spot on the roster. The other rookie part of the watch during training camp is to keep an eye on the secondary. Renardo Green and Malik Mustafa could play critical roles early in the season due to injuries to other key defenders. Offensive line prospect Dominic Purdy is another rookie to watch. He has the potential to earn a starting position at guard, adding depth and competition to the offensive line. Now, I don't know if anybody has seen some of the pictures of Malik. Him and Purdy both talk about built like a tank. Holy crap. I definitely would. I wouldn't want to go up against them. Obviously, I got the dad bod going, but yeah, those guys are going to be awesome. I'm personally thinking, going back a little bit to Cowing. I think he's going to have a higher chance. Some of our younger players that just didn't show the potential that we hoped they would. Bell, for instance, I'm not seeing them being able to hang in there. But we'll see. We'll get there. All right, a little more on Brock Purdy, and in more of a league-wide context. ESPN's top quarterbacks, they put a list out, the top quarterbacks, with Brock Purdy earning an honorable mention. He's not in the top 10. I disagree with that with some of the other people on the list, but I didn't make it, so. Purdy's effective play and impressive start have garnered him league-wide attention, though, and that's a plus. I still think he should be in that top 10. Purdy's ability to navigate the pocket and use his legs has been praised. See, Steve Young was right. Though some evaluators believe he has limitations compared to other elite quarterbacks. I don't know what those limitations are. I think he answered all those limitations last season. For Purdy to be considered among the best, he will need to continue improving and showcasing his versatility. His current trajectory suggests he has potential to join the ranks of the NFL's elite quarterbacks. I think he's there. I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I can find that. I'm going to look at my other screen here. I'm going to find that other. The other. The ESPN thing. I lost my train of thought there. That's not a good thing when you're trying to talk about football, is it? All right. ESPN. Nope, right there. Maybe there's. Let's see. Thought they had a list out. The 40. I can type it in here. ESPN 2024 quarterback rankings. All right, the top 10. That's last year's list. Quarterback. Where's quarterback? There it is. Boom. Of course, now my site's wanting to be picky at the moment. I want to try to find who those, there we go. Let's try that one. The list is not there, but I can see that he is behind Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and C.J. Stroud. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that. But like I said, I don't have that say in the matter. I'm just a fan of the team, and I'm biased. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's not the greatest, but I think next year for sure he'll be in that top 10 according to ESPN. So we'll see. Let's move on. Classic uniforms. Uniforms came out for what what uniform they're wearing for what game, and they'll wear their classic home uniforms twice this season against the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Their all-white throwbacks will also return for a game against the Seattle Seahawks. These uniform choices celebrate the team's rich history and tradition. Fans are excited to see the teams don these iconic looks, which evoke memories of past glory. They do. I'm not going to lie. I've seen them when they weren't classic uniforms. So wearing these uniforms at key games highlights 49ers' intent to honor their heritage while striving for new achievements. And no, I'm not drunk. I just had a hiccup. But the one game that I kind of like a lot is they're actually going to wear their home jersey when they play their away game at Levi South in LA. That was awesome that they did that last year. I like it that they're doing it this year. It's awesome. I love it. It's good. It's going to be that if there's any other place besides Levi's that I would want to go, and no, I haven't quite been to Levi's. I was hoping to make it this year, but it's not going to happen. But I wouldn't mind going to LA and seeing the Niners beat the Rams. That would be awesome. All right. In-depth analysis on the roster. Offensive line concerns. The interior offensive line didn't receive any votes in ESPN's potential survey, raising questions about this critical unit. We'll discuss potential solutions and key players to watch. Defensive strategies with key defenders like Aiyuk Armstead. By the way, he was put on the PUP list for where he went. Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga potentially missing early games. Aiyuk Armstead being traded, of course. The rookies, Green and Mustafa, will be vital, and yes, they will, in containing the run, especially against teams like the Jets with Pearsall. I think we have a pretty good shot at that. I think these two are going to be awesome, but I do agree that they're green. They need to get their chops, and it will be a tough bet against the Jets, but I think they'll make it. Special teams, Isaac Garendo. His speed makes him a potential kick returner, and we'll explore how he might contribute to that in later episodes, along with that offensive line. That's what I was talking about in later episodes. We'll go into that offensive line, see how they operate in training camp and all that, and preseason. NFL quarterback ratings, we'll dive a little bit deeper into that on another episode. Specifically NFC quarterbacks and NFC West quarterbacks, which I think he's, again, I'm biased, but I think he's on the top. Definitely NFC. I think NFC West-wise, I think the Rams, they're close, but Brock Purdy's still above. And we'll make some predictions as the season gets closer. I think maybe a week or two out, I'll make a good prediction on what I think their overall schedule is like, and what I think their record is going to be by the end of the season. Training camp is just around the corner for veterans. Has started already for those rookies. We'll highlight important dates like I did last week if anything changes. Rookies to watch, we'll talk about them. Again, Cowing, Pooney, all the others. See how Kittle and McCaffrey play in their respective roles, and how they're going to mentor the younger players and help them team morale. Hopefully you guys learned a little something today. I still think I'm going to go back a little bit more, and I'm going to say Aiyuk is not getting traded. Make sure we understand that. It's going to take a little bit. My best guess, 27 to 29 mil a year, somewhere in that range. He's not going to get Justin Jefferson money. I don't even think Justin Jefferson should have got Justin Jefferson money. I think the Vikings overpaid him. But with that said, 27 to 29 mil, but a large chunk of it guaranteed. I think that's what's going to get him in the door, and that's what I think is going to happen. If anyone has anything different, any ideas, if you really think that he is going to get traded, tell me what your trade ideas are for him, what we might get. I think it's a little late. I mean, I suppose we can get trade picks for next year's draft. But if we're going to do draft picks, I think we should have done it before the draft this year. So I don't think that's going to work. That's going to happen this year. Um, so if you have any ideas though of trade possibilities, and give a good reason, like I said when I was talking about Devontae Adams, I think he's already hit his peak. I think trading someone just getting to their peak for someone who's already over their peak, that wouldn't be a good trade. So think of some other ones. Let me know in the comments, and I'll bring them up next week. As along with, I'm sure I should have some pictures and reactions to training camp by next week. I'll try to get some pictures. One of my fellow fans in one of my Facebook groups said she'll be there and that she might be able to get me some pictures. And lucky her, she's going to meet Fred Warner. I'm jealous. But get those pictures up, show you what's going on, and we'll talk about training camp. So that wraps up another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful. It's an exciting time to be a 49ers fan with the season up and coming. And of course, all the wonderful Aiyuk drama. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my podcast. I only need 8 more subscribers. 8, just 8. And then I can go live. I have my tickets to go to the Vikings game. I'm going to be staying at that hotel that's attached to the Mall of America. I found out that might not be where the Niners are going to stay, but where I'm going to find out which hotel it is. If anyone knows, speaking of that, what hotel that the 49ers stay at in Minnesota, let me know. I want to at least catch them as they're going to the stadium. Maybe I could get some pics for the episode, and who knows, maybe an autograph picture or something. But I only need 8 more so I can go live during that time. I want to go live as I'm going up to the stadium when I get there. Maybe when I'm in my seat, do a couple minutes. And then obviously immediate reactions afterwards. Try to talk to some fellow fans and all that. So 8 more subscribers. Help me out. Your support keeps us going and ensures you get up-to-date news on our 49ers. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Voice of a Niner Faithful. Go Niners!